Mr. Buffett, you mentioned earlier today that you'd be willing to sell insurance in exchange for stock options. If possible, could you please describe a methodology for the valuation of stock options, particularly in cases where there is no market pricing data available for the option being valued?
Yeah, I would I could figure out what I would pay for an option on a private business. I could figure out what I could pay for an option on a public business, might be a little easier. I could figure out what I'd pay for an option on an apartment house or a farm. I had a friend, I mean, when I was 20 years old, we developed a big plan. We were going to go out and option farms, you know, outside of what were then the city limits of Omaha. And we figured that if we offered a farmer a modest amount, which would be annual income to him, to option his farm at double the price it was bringing then, that it would, you know, he would be happy to sell for double the price that year, and maybe we could do something. And it might have worked out okay. Every option has value. You know, I've got a house worth X. If you offer me a few dollars to give you an option at 2X for 10 years, I'm not going to take it, because there are all kinds of possibilities in terms of inflation. All options have value, and people that get options usually understand that better than people that give options. I'm not talking about stock options now, but in other arenas. So we would be happy. You know, I mean, whether I could, let's take, we'll just pull one out of the air. Let's take an untraded company like Mars Inc. Or would I be happy to have an option, 10-year option on a piece of Mars Inc. at some given price? Sure, I would. And there's an amount I would take for that. I would take in lieu of getting cash if I was writing a big insurance policy with Mars Inc. They're not going to do this with me, and I would be happy. You know, and instead of, if you buy homeowners insurance from me, if you want to give me an option on your house for 10 years, I'll take that in lieu of the premium. I'll make my own calculations to value. It won't be Black-Scholes, although that might be the best arrangement under many circumstances. But I would probably crank in my own case. We bought and sold options. And as a matter of fact, on June 3rd, Berkshire Hathaway will receive $60 million if the S&P 500 closes at 1150 something or below. And 2 years ago, when the S&P was 14 something, we agreed for, on that June 3rd option or whatever it was, $400 million nominal value, where in effect the counterparty would get the profit above 2,000 and something, 42% up from the current cash price, and we got the profit between 5 and 20% on the downside on a put. People who were calculating the values of options at that time under traditional methods felt that that was a cashless transaction, that the value of the call that we gave was equal to the value of the put that we received. You know, I decided differently. So we don't accept blindly option values as determined by the calculations of people who win Nobel Prizes.